Hi everyone, and welcome back to Geordie Pride Voices from the Northeast. This week we sit down with Tolu Akinyemi, also known as the Lion of Newcastle. Tolu shares his journey from Nigeria to the Northeast, where he discovered not just a new home, but a vibrant literary community that nurtured his success as an award winning author and poet. Tolu opens up about how Newcastle transformed his dreams into a reality and inspired his forthcoming poetry collection, Home and Motion, with poems dedicated to the city. He also discusses the origins of his iconic roar, his unique role in the local literary scene, and the ways in which the Northeast's warmth and spirit continue to shape his writing. So get ready to hear Tolu's story, celebrate the magic of Newcastle, and maybe even practice your lion's roar, because why not? And you hear it quite a few times in this episode. You're listening to Geordie Pride, Voices from the Northeast. I'm Hayley, and alongside my cousin Angela, we're thrilled to bring you the stories that share the heart and soul of the Northeast of England. Each episode, we'll dive into the lives of extraordinary Geordies and those who call the Northeast home, exploring their journeys and celebrating their achievements. From the town to the teas, from the arts to the sports fields, we're here to share the tales of passion, resilience, and of course, Geordie Pride. So whether you're from Whitley Bay or Washington, Gateshead or Gisborough, or you're just fascinated by the spirit of the Northeast, join us as we natter with the best the Northeast has to offer. Hi Tolu, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Raw.
What an entrance! I love it. I love it. We've not had that as an entrance before.
Raw.
So why don't we start there? Why don't you
Yeah.
tell us why you're roaring like a lion and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in Newcastle?
It's a pleasure to be here talking to you today. And yeah, I think it's very fitting that I started with that raw. I am known as the Lion of Newcastle, and I came to Newcastle in 2016. And I came to Newcastle for work, and I never knew that Newcastle will be this beautiful city where I will find my own unique role, a city that helped me to form my dreams, where my dreams became valid. Newcastle became a legacy defining city for me. And I know that when the story of my life is being told, there's no way Newcastle will not feature prominently in that story, because this is where I found a name, a raw, and a literary legacy as well. As the author of 22 books, I have won awards. I have a forthcoming title, which is titled Home in Motion, which is like the full circle motion for me, that I found home in Newcastle. And it's been a beautiful author story. So I came here in 2016. I came to Newcastle for work, but it ended up being a beautiful author story. I wrote my first book published in 2017, titled Dead Lions Don't Roar. And anytime I went out to perform, I would encourage the audience to roar together with me. And everyone just buzzing, the roaring everywhere, everywhere is electric. Then subsequently, as the months rode by, the years rode by, people would see me. Oh, the lion is here, the Lion of Newcastle is here, and everyone is roaring. When they see me, the energy in the room is alive, everywhere is lifted. Yeah, so Newcastle is a city where I found my own unique role, my own unique voice, and my own unique talent. And I'm grateful to this city. And today I'm here as well as one of the pride, a Geordie pride as well myself, because Newcastle means the world to me.
Oh, that's amazing. What brought you to writing?
Yeah, so writing for me was more of I was first a reader before I became a writer. So fortunately, my dad studied English and Literary Studies at the university in Nigeria, one of the prestigious university back home in Nigeria, University of Ibadan. So I was exposed to so many books, so many African literary books, the likes of Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka. We had like Buchi Emechita. We had a lot of like literary icons, their books in the house, Cyprian Equense. So mainly African writers, Dio Fagunwa. So I had this early introduction to literature on the home front. So I was inquisitive. I used to read a lot. Then from there, I started journaling as well, taking account of events happening around the world. Then I wrote a screenplay when I was in junior secondary school. And when I went into university, I was very active at the university as well. I used to write finance articles. Then I had my own personal blog. I used to write blog posts to motivate people, write essays. So that was a combination of that. Then sometimes in 2010, I think I just started writing poetry, and people were coming to my blog at the time, toluakinyemi.com. Oh, we love your poetry. We love reading your work. And so from there, everything just blossomed. I came to the UK in 2010 as well, September 2010. And I still continued writing on my blog. So it was more of like a even when I started working, I was still writing and writing. So it just became a natural thing for me to publish my first work in 2017. And here we are in 2025, 22 published books, multiple awards, and a forthcoming title. Raw.
That's all just rolls randomly. It's just, I like it. You mentioned your forthcoming collection, Home in Motion, and you've mentioned that that's dedicated to Newcastle. Can you talk a little bit about that? What it's going to be? What exactly was the inspiration in Newcastle behind it, and what it's going to look like?
Yeah, so basically, Home Emotion, it's a tribute to my journey living home in Nigeria, carrying bags of dreams. I never knew those dreams would bring me to where I am today. It's a combination, it's a full circle moment for me in terms of all my journey through the years I have carried home, and to get to this point where I have become a literary icon to other writers, to aspiring writers who can say, oh, that writer who came. Some writers here in Newcastle as well. When I came in 2016, I used to attend places like the I used to attend places like the Scratch workshops for poets, where we would perform our poetry, give each other feedback. So some people saw me firsthand when I first came to Newcastle, and they followed my journey. And to see how far I have come, then it shows that it's possible. So I'll just read a brief synopsis. So this poetry collection is a foray into the mindscape of a migrant and its changing definitions of home and exploration of physical spaces and psychological territories. Each poem in Home Emotion is a love affair between the poet personnel and the cities that once offered him a warm bed. His allegiance is torn between his place of birth and his residence. So that's just a brief introduction into Home Emotion. It looks the verses are like peeks through glass windows at ideal neighborhoods. They embrace brief walks through the safe streets of nostalgia and return to the reality of fleeting seasons. So that's just the book. It explores the themes of identity, community, migration, interrogating memory, and many experiences in between. So that's just a brief, into what Home Emotion. It encapsulates my journey into Newcastle, and I feel like Newcastle is the best place for me to dedicate. So I dedicated this both in Newcastle and to my state of birth back home in Nigeria. And I feel these two places are just because coming from home to a new home where I have found repute as a writer, to a city where I have found literary acclaim. So I wrote a poem in one of my collections, Dead Dogs Don't Bark, and that poem is titled Newcastle, the city of my shining star. And I said in that poem that if Newcastle were a damsel, I will be roaring out ear splitting. Will you say I do? So I'm trying to say if Newcastle were to be a woman, I would just say, come on, I will marry you because it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey for me. Rah!
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Is
We need to take a raw break.
is there any particular reason why you chose Newcastle, Tolu? Is it just one of those things where you just happen to be here?
Yeah, so I was before Newcastle. I've lived in various places in the UK, but I came to Newcastle from Manchester. And like I said earlier, I came to Newcastle for work. And at that time, I had about four job offers, come potential job offers, but my spirit just said Newcastle. And I feel like I'm so excited because I'm delighted I made that choice because if you look at the journey, the great people I've met in Newcastle, the amazing writers. I talked about, the poem I talked about earlier, Newcastle, the city of my shining star. I said a community of writers sheltered me in the days the nights were forlorn. Poetry was my anthem and the verses my soul dances to. I hope you will find your Newcastle. So I'm also hoping that people, maybe not Newcastle literally, but people will find a city like Newcastle that it becomes like a part of them, a city where their own dreams too can turn into reality. So I feel like that decision coming to Newcastle has changed my life, has helped me to become a better writer, has helped me to become who I am today. And I am truly grateful for that.
You mentioned that so Newcastle feels like a home to you. Can you put into words like what is it that calls to you about Newcastle? Is it the people, the scenery, like what is it that makes you feel so comfortable?
Yeah, so I think initially it was the people in the literary scene. I met people who showed me incredible support, from coming into a place newly and having that community, this group of lovely people accept me as one of their own. I'm on the stage, people are roaring, the people were just so supportive, and they will come to me, even give me feedback to say, oh, Tolu, thank you for helping me to build my own self-confidence as well, because when we see you go up the stage and you tell everyone to roar. I could never do that before now, to go up the stage, and people just could feel the energy, they could feel the connection. Then so the people were really great, the scenery was beautiful. Everywhere I went in the city to perform, people would show me incredible support, buy my books. It was just beautiful. So for me, I felt like this is a great community of people who are ready to support a great talent when they see one. Whenever I had my book launches, event at the Leighton Field, people would turn up to support me, to support my work. And for me, that was just really fitting. And now I just feel like it's like Newcastle is just it's been a beautiful marriage, a beautiful union, and I'm truly grateful for that as well.
And do you find it easy to understand the Geordie accent?
Yeah, I'm used to that already now.
Some
It
parts
can
of Newcastle you might not. Rural Northumberland areas where you get really, really Geordie. I could really
yeah.
Yeah.
talk Geordie and you would never understand a word I'm saying.
Neither can I, Angela, never mind.
Oh.
And I think my poetry as well. I've performed even outside of even Newcastle City. I've gone to Mopeds. I've gone to concerts. I've sold my books at Time Out Market. The support also at Time Out Market has been super incredible. I've performed in so many areas whereby that can not readily come to mind at the moment. Yeah, but I've toured almost all areas, even the outskirts, cities like neighboring city towns, and yeah, villages within outside of Newcastle as well.
Oh, that's amazing. So, you're talking about like inspirational sort of like poems and things that you write about. Is there any person that you've been inspired? I know that you mentioned your father there, but is there anyone that you kind of find inspiration from yourself?
Yeah, so I think in terms of inspiration, there has been like couple of Nigerian writers. The first Nobel laureate in Nigeria, Professor Wole Soyinka. So it was this iconic figure that I used to look up to growing up, and I think many of us young writers or writers are now becoming even older now. We used to look up to him when we were younger as well because it was this iconic figure, the first, imagine being the first Nobel laureate in the whole of Africa. And, so that was so amazing. So it was one person that I saw as an inspirational figure that, yeah, that if he could do or go on to achieve all that he has achieved, then I also someday I can also go on to become an iconic figure within the literary sphere. Yeah, so it's someone that I've always looked up to. I've admired him. He's aged gracefully as well, and even I've gone on to like watch some of his videos when he was much more younger, and I could see that he's just a bag of super talent, and the stars shown all around the world. Yeah, so I'm not. The shoes are so big for any one writer to say, "Oh, we can step into those shoes," because those are really big shoes. But we are trying where we are today. Baby steps, taking the right actions, and yeah, people are reading me as well from all around the world. People who have read one book and have gone on to read more of my titles because they could feel a connection that this is poetry that makes you think, that makes you feel, that moves you, and that makes you imagine. Poetry that people could connect to even on the personal level. I've seen people read my book, give me feedback to say, "Oh, the author is even though it was my own story, my own idea, it's become everyone's else stories because as humans, our experiences are universal in nature as well. We all experience love, loss, happiness, joy, life, death, and so that that those experiences, they are is even though they are my own experiences in my writings, they are my own imagination, but it's the whole world experience.
I mean, you've got such a lovely way with words and just describing things. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Where do you get your inspiration from? Like, because I like to write, but like, I probably get inspiration to write things maybe like once every 6 months. Like, I just can't, like, I don't have it innately in my mind to be that creative. Like, where do you find your inspiration for writing such powerful pieces from?
Yeah, so thank you for that. Yeah, so I think for inspiration, first of all, personal confession, I run every morning. I jog I run actively every morning, 365 days a year, unless maybe I'm abroad or I'm not. Even when I'm sick, I try my best to just manage my body, and so I'm a fitness guru. I love to run. I love to look after my body in that kind of a way. And also, when you interact with nature, first of all, you are able to like just the ideas, you're able to get ideas. I've had books written, like my collection of poems that speaks to the Black experience. Black does not equal inferior. I wrote most of the poems in that book while running outside. So while running, the idea is coming to my mind, and I'm taking brief pauses, writing on my notepad on my phone, to keep storing it in my memory. So when I get back home, for the ones that I don't type on the phone, I store those words, those lines in my memory. Then when I get home, I put it on my notepad. Yeah, so I feel like that has helped me in terms of experiences. But I get experiences from everywhere, the human, from basically the things that affect us as human. I've written a collection of poems on the coronavirus pandemic, born in lockdown, because I was once in timeout a timeout market, and someone walked up to me. He bought the collection of poems born in lockdown, and he said, Tolu, thank you so much for writing this book, because what you have done is you are preserving history. Because in so many years, so many decades from now, the old COVID story might be revised. People would, people might whitewash the incident, bring out a new narrative entirely. But when we have writers like you who are documenting things like this, then it becomes really difficult for people to rewrite these stories, to rewrite the narratives. So I think when we tell our stories as well, it's very important for us to tell our stories to ensure they do not get erased. So I feel like my all my experiences just comes from the things that affect us as humans. I've written the collection of poems titled "On the Train to Hell," poems of sadness and grieving. And people who have read those poems said it touched the core of their soul. Even though it was on death, it was on grief, people could still find some glitter of hope within those pages. So so all my poems are just basically connected to the human experience, the universal experience of love, in a booktiful love, in finding your own unique role in Dead Lions Don't Roll. I've written titles like Dead Dogs Don't Bark, Dead Cats Don't Meow, Don't Waste the Nightlife, which is a sequel to Dead Lions Don't Roll and Dead Dogs Don't Bark. I've written inspirational essays, Unravel Your Hidden Gems, which people have called it a life Bible, so that we all have hidden gems, we all have these talents, we all have these dreams within, but it's left for us to unravel it. And so many years ago, too, I had all of these hidden gems within me, but I didn't want people to know that I was this talented writer. So I was just trying to I didn't want people to know. Imagine not letting your gift to the world. That would have been a great disservice. Now,
Mm.
today, I'm talking about 22 books. It was all because I unraveled my own hidden gems. I have another collection of essays titled Awaken Your Inner Lion. So, these are just all from human experiences, the things that, the stories, the issues that speak to us all, and our connection as humans on a deeply personal level.
Mm. Definitely, everything's all about connections and energies, isn't it? Everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm a therapist, so I work with connection and energies and stuff all the time, and it's, to me, it's quite passionate and personal to me. So I get kind of where you're going with that. When you're on stage and you're reading your poems, do you feel there is a connection and an energy that you're portraying when you're reading these poems out and your poetry? I'm guessing yes, because you wouldn't do it otherwise. And with that, is there any kind of particular performance that sticks out in your mind that you think, wow, that was really powerful? And why do you think it was?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like there's a connection first, because first of all, when I start with, can I have a loud roar like a lion, or when people are roaring already, we already share that connection on a deeply personal level. So then when I'm on the stage and I'm reading out, I feel the audience, they are with me, they take the words in deeply. And even at the end of the performance, people walk up to me to say, "Oh, that was a great performance." You get all of this sort of feedback to say, "Oh, that was really powerful. That resonated with me." Yeah, so I feel like there's a powerful connection, especially even when you connect with the audience, because it's all about, first of all, as a stage performer, how do you connect with the audience? Can you really connect to them on a personal level? And I think that has been like the epitome of my own writing and my even my performing as well. Connection. I performed in Paris December last year, and everywhere was electric as well. So carrying that spirit from Newcastle to Paris, and so the connection is not limited by territory, being bold, being fierce, encouraging people to roar as well. So I think that already sets the stage for some sort of iconic performance as well. And I know you mentioned that you're a therapist. I've also written a collection of mental health poetry, so which is which is titled Everybody Don't Kolo Mental. And that Everybody Don't Kolo Mental, I made references to in some couple of poems on therapist and therapy. I think I had a poem around therapy, and I had another poem on a therapist as well. So yeah, but yeah, I feel like it's very important as a stage performer to connect with your audience, because everything that happens day after, it becomes much more like, it becomes like a walk in the park, because you could go on stage. If you don't connect with your audience, you might just feel like invisible as well. So I think he encourages people as well, when they see me on stage, connecting with the audience on a personal level. Then people, I performed in Manchester, and someone walked up to me to say, "Well, I'm going to be your duplicate now. I will encourage people to start roaring," and so it shows how that little thing I'm doing, encourage people to roar. People can also resonate with it, and they also want to replicate that. So you don't be surprised when you see so many Lions of Newcastle, so many other duplicates of the of the Lion of Newcastle in different cities around the world as well.
Do you go into schools and things and be inspirational through your poetry with children as well, or is it just adults that you do this with? Or
Yeah, so I've done couple of, not schools particularly, but I've done couple of youth groups, youth settings in the past. I've performed. So there was this in Whitley Bay, at the Playhouse Whitley Bay. We had a group of 600 students and their parents come there. I performed there. I think it was around 2018, to a full. I think it was about 600 young people in the audience. But so many years ago, back in 2011, I used to go to schools as a student mentor, to mentor students on, just becoming the best version of themselves. I was studying at the University of Hertfordshire back then, studying for my master's degree, and just encouraging young people that, it could be students who are facing at the risk of exclusion from school. It could be students who are from underrepresented backgrounds, who we are trying to get them to become the best version of themselves, or who are facing challenges on their own front, just encouraging them to see the benefits of higher education, and just tell our own story, how we've achieved success on a personal level, and also helping them to see that, yeah, say no to all the issues that affect young people. I've also written, even personally now, I've written a collection of poems for young people titled "You Need More Than Dreams." So all the issues that affect young people: peer pressure, truancy, and knife crime, all the social media, all the issues that affect them. So I feel like I also connect to young people on those sort of level. I've written 3 children's books. I wear self-confidence like a second skin, telling young people that you all have to wear your self-confidence like a second skin. And I think even with the lion thing, roaring, going on stage, the self-confidence is there, taking charge of situations, being bold to even launch out your dreams, irrespective of the challenges. I have a collection of children's book as well, on children's picture book titled "If You Have to Be Anything, Be Kind." And I also have another one titled "I Am Not a Troublemaker." So my books connect with every facet of society. Even as adults, we need to have our own self-confidence like a second skin. You could be at work, you could be anywhere. Are you bold enough? Can you talk in the room? You need self-confidence. But it's important for us to instill these values in people from a young and tender age, telling people that if you have to be anything, be kind. Because that's how society becomes better as well. If we start spreading the message from a young age that kindness is the way to go, then we have more responsible adults in the society, people who are willing to look after the other person as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's definitely a key message. I think I've decided from this chat that I need a little version of you on my shoulder, just speaking these wonderful words of wisdom to me constantly.
then you should get t-shirts printed with a lion on.
Yeah, I should. I should. I've had couple in the past there, but yeah, I need more. I need to showcase the Lion effect, the great Lion of Newcastle.
What does that feel like actually? So like you're not like born in the northeast, but you've come here and you've made a place for yourself in the northeast, and you're known as the Lion of the Northeast. Like, how does that feel like for someone who just came here 10 years ago? And like, you must feel so special to be like regarded and considered in such a good manner.
Yeah, it feels really great, to come to Newcastle and from nothing, from obscurity in that sort of way, like in arriving Newcastle to literary acclaim. And I think it's also a testament to the city of Newcastle itself. And I think there's no better way to celebrate that than to read this poem from Home Emotion, which is titled "This is Our City." This city knows my name, bore my pain. This was the spool from where dreams were woven with kindred. We are building castles on the Tyne. This bridge, a floating art, crest of imagination, a symbol of our transcendence. This is our city, Newcastle City, where anyone from anywhere can crystallize into a finished work of art. So that's one. And the second one is titled I Pledge an Oath of Allegiance to Newcastle upon Tyne. Arbor of dreams, luminous as the night skies, Geordie stamp, the seal of approval. There's a fire in my belly, creative powerhouse. We shape shift imaginary things through blurry spectacles. When words fade and fail, when the bones are like shadows and the ink no longer spills. Let this wall, this page be a remembrance of my allegiance to Newcastle upon Tyne. Yeah, so I feel like Newcastle is that city where anyone from anywhere can crystallize into a finished work of art. So I think that's just a fitting tribute to all of the things that I've achieved in Newcastle, from coming from zero published works to all of these books, these awards, and this acclaim. So Geordie Pride! Rah!
That's what we need a new introduction to be, just Geordie Pride in a giant roar. Well, they were lovely. Thank you for sharing those. I know it for me. I love. I've got a little poetry book that I've had for many years, and if I'm ever feeling kind of anxious or stressed, I just go and pick it up and I thumb through it. So I find it really relaxing listening and reading poetry. And that was lovely. It's a great tribute to the northeast and Newcastle in particular, because yeah, I agree with you. It's such a wonderful place, and I think we're so inclusive of everybody. And the fact that you've been able to come over here and show us and be vulnerable with your poetry, and you've been so successful, I think says a hell of a lot.
Have you got a favourite place in the whole of the northeast apart from Newcastle?
I'll say more pets. More. I love more pets.
Nice.
Beautiful scenery. I perform my poetry there on a number so many times with the Moped Poetry Group, and they always love to have me all the time. They are so supportive as well. They buy my books, and apart from that, so Moped is a really great community. And whenever I'm there, I feel really welcome. It's really beautiful as well.
Yeah, I used to live there.
Oh wow.
Nice little village, isn't it?
Yeah, and I had a cheeky poem about. So this cheeky poem is titled Mopeds. Is in my collection of. It was in the chapbook I released last year, and this is titled. Although it's more like a love story, but it's titled Mopeds. Hopeless romantic, sing like a canary. I am laying eggs on this Virgin Island. Weave words on this nested art. Let me be the picture perfect. Love of your fantasy. Like Muppets. Let me be the town of your dreams.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's beautiful.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah,
It is a lovely place, I have to say.
yeah, it is. Really, really lovely. Really lovely.
So, Tolu, are there any dream projects that you'd like to do in the future that you've not managed to do that yet, that are in your goals, that are in your dreams?
Yeah, so I think one of the future projects that I wanted to do for so many years, which was to write a collection of financial crime compliance poems. I have managed to achieve that. So I became the first poet in living history, in recorded history, in whatever history you want to talk about, to write a collection of financial crime compliance poems. I worked in the industry for about a decade, so I felt like with all the experience I have gathered through the years, there's no other person who is primed to do that. I've written like just a couple of individual pieces in the past in my collection of poems, The Lionstone Row, on financial crime compliance poetry. So I thought, let me put a full length collection together, which I managed to do. Let me just show the book on the screen. So it's titled Architect of a Cleaner Financial System. So a collection of financial crime compliance poetry. So if I were to dive into the future, this was one of the things that I really wanted to achieve, which I've gone on to achieve. And I think for the future, basically, I think I think my future goal is just to sell out more spaces in terms of my poetry, take my poetry to new countries, to to new audiences. Like when I was in Paris in December, I really enjoyed being there. The audience really enjoyed my performance, and they said they will be bringing me back as well. So those are the sort of experiences that I love, just to connect with people on a more global basis, like travel the world. Like, for me, when I travel around the world, the first thing I'm looking at is where are the poetry communities in these cities, where are the writing communities. I always love to connect with writers. I was once talking to a friend, and she said, "Oh, when I travel, I'm looking out for the nearest beach, like how I can go out, just I'm looking for locations close to the beach." And I was saying, "Oh, for me, I'm looking at the where are the events, where are they happening, where are the writers in these communities, how can I connect with them?" So I think for me, just taking my work to more countries. I've performed in Italy in 2019. Yeah, so but just taking my work to more countries, let people meet the Lion of. When I was in Paris, I even met a couple of people who were also from Newcastle, and they said, "Oh, they are from Newcastle," and it was great to also for them to meet the Lion of Newcastle. So I feel for me, one of my future goal is my future goal is just to take my poetry to more cities around the world, to more countries, and just getting to meet new people in these cities, in these communities. And also, I think one other thing that I want to do more of is, the way I've written this collection of financial crime compliance poetry. I think part of the future plan for me will be to write some more specific work-related poetry as well. So I have that. As part of things I would love to do more of, because this has been a phenomenal success as well in terms of the reception, the acclaim it's received, both from the literary community and from financial crime experts around the world. Yeah, so I feel like having more of this sort of ingenuity where someone can just turn, if where someone can just turn a career or an industry into poetry, and people would resonate with it. They connect with the words on a deeply personal level. I think, yeah, it's been profound, and I'm hoping to be able to replicate this as well.
Brilliant, yeah. So we'll get a Lion of Newcastle World Tour set up.
And the funniest thing is that I've done a couple of multinational tours. I've done tours in the UK. I've done tours in Nigeria as well. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think more tours. I think, although I work also, I have a day job. I work in the financial services as well. So it's not been super easy. People say, "Oh, how do you find the time? All these books. You have a day job. You have a family to look after. How do you combine?" But I always say that you always find time for whatever you feel like is important to you as well. So for me, I feel like if people have dreams, we need to encourage them that you need to find the time for it. Every day I try to eat, you find food for your body. If you are thirsty, you drink water, you take a glass of drink or wine, is because your body needs those as well. So if you have dreams, you have things you want to achieve on the personal level, then I think it's also very important for you to find time for those as well.
Definitely, definitely very inspirational. For all our lovely listeners out there, or our watchers, for those who want to explore poetry, writing, and things like that, what would you say to them to get started? Are there any top tips or anything that you kind of would encourage someone to write? What would you say to that?
Yeah, for me, I always say start anyhow, like just start, be vulnerable as well. Know that writing is a vulnerable sport, which is also a personal quote of mine. With writing comes vulnerability. When you expose your ideas to the world, not everyone will like your work, not everyone will accept you, but just keep writing. Through, through your writings, you would get better. And I will also say read other read other writers, read other poets. It's not to imitate them, but it's just for you to see what's out there, see what people are see what people are writing, see, but just have your own unique style, your own unique voice. You don't have to be like anyone else. We see many writers in this day and age trying to be a version of another poet or another writer, but just draw confidence in being your own self, and I'm sure the stars would align to your dreams become valid.
Got such a lovely way with words. Like that answer to that question was just so beautiful. So let's just put that in a book.
Rah!
Right, so I think it's a great point for us to start with the quick fire questions. Angela, do you agree?
Definitely. Shall I go
Yeah.
first?
Yeah, you go first. Go on, you pick one.
Right. Oh, right. I would say, what's your favourite iconic landmark within the Northeast?
Yeah, so I would say the Angel of the North. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
I think I've written the poem around that as well. Yeah, so
yeah,
the Angel of the North. It's for me that's iconic, and
yeah.
yeah.
Had the football T-shirt on for the weekend from a classmate.
Yeah, I saw that.
Have a one.
I saw someone make a comment saying, "Oh, it's nice to see that they found Dan Burns' Newcastle shirt, leaving it on the angel. It's about the right size, so yeah." Right, next one. You're going for a day out in the northeast. Which do you prefer, the northeast coast or the northeast countryside?
Hmm, I'll say the Northeast Coast. I love the countryside too, but I'll say the coast because that gives me like some sort of serenity. Yeah, so just, I can commune more with nature. As a poet as well, I draw into that warmth in the coast. Yeah, but I love the countryside. But at times it's just that maybe when I'm driving alone at the countryside, I get to be like, yeah, but I also live close to like a countryside area anyways. Yeah, but I love the coast. I draw strength from its warmth and yeah, the beauty, the serenity, and that's what every writer wants. Yeah, so I go for the coast.
Do you have a favourite beach?
I say Whitley Bay. Whitley
Mm,
Bay.
yeah, it's nice
Yeah,
that one.
Nice one.
I've written a poem about that as well. Yeah, so shows you how much I love it.
And this one, what does Geordie Pride mean to you in 3 words?
Strength, okay, strength, resilience, dreams.
Good, excellent. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that. What's the one thing for you that makes the Northeast special?
The people, the great people.
Yay! We are ace.
Hey, the people. I can scream that to the rooftops.
Good answer.
He knows his audience, doesn't he?
Oh, definitely. And then last question, which is our iconic question to everybody, is what is your Greg's go-to order?
My go-to order is sausage rolls. Sausage rolls.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat a sausage roll, can you?
Team sausage rolls all any day, anytime. Team sausage rolls. We love it. I love it.
You've got to say it like a Geordie though too. Like you've got to say sausage roll.
Sausage roll.
Well, you're right though. A sausage roll, you can have that for breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper. Like, any time of day, you can have a sausage roll.
It ticks all boxes.
Exactly.
Sausage roll.
Have you wrote a poem about a sausage roll? If not, that's next on your list.
Yeah, definitely.
Because us Geordies are born on Greg's and sausage rolls.
Sausage rolls.
If you slice us in half of it's football and Newcastle United, other half is Greg's.
Oh God, we're classy. Oh, brilliant. So before we say goodbye, Tolu, is there anything else that you want to share with us? Any events that you've got coming up? Any upcoming projects that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so I have the book that I talked about, Home Emotion. Yeah, it will be released on the 1st of July 2025. It's now available for pre-order on Amazon. Yeah, so just people could check out my website, tolutoludu.com, for information about my upcoming events, any upcoming tours planned around the book launch for book readings. I'm also on social media on Instagram at Tolu Toludo, and I'm on Facebook at Tolu A Akinyemi. I'm also on X at Tolu Akinyemi and at Tolu Toludo. My website, tolutoludo.com, and my blog is toluakinyemi.com. So people could connect with me on all of these platforms. Yeah, but if you check out my website, tolutoludo.com, every information you need about me, my upcoming event performances will be found on there. But my books are available to pre-order also on my website, tolutoludo.com. And you can also buy any of my 23, 22 wonderful titles and the forthcoming title as well on my personal website, tolutoludo.com. Also available on Amazon for pre-order and also to buy my other titles as well.
Super, that's great. And we'll put all of those links in the show notes so people can just hop right in there and have a look and find out everything that Tolu's doing near you. Follow him, look out for those books and that new one coming out in July as well. And I just want to say thank you so much. It's been a pleasure listening to you. Just the words that come out of you are just so, like, it just transports me to different places and different feelings and emotions. And it's just, I think that's what's very magical about your work. So I'll be definitely checking out that 1st of July book that's coming out, and I'll be signing up for it. Come on, Angela, join in.
Geordie Pride!
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, and we've loved chatting to you. And everybody follow Tolu on social media. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.
so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support Geordie Pride further, then don't forget to subscribe, share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram @Geordie Pride. Until next time, keep that Geordie Pride shining bright.